Washington is a place full of two-timing politicians, with a long trail of sordid affairs, ugly divorces, and hypocrisy.
For our family.
As Speaker of the House, in the middle of his own secret affair with Callista, Gingrich was calling for the impeachment of President Bill Clinton for lying about his affair with Monica Lewinsky.
There is no administration in American history with less moral authority than the Clinton-Gore administration.
Mary Ann Gingrich was married to Newt for 18 years when he asked her for a divorce.
It started with a phone call. Callista doesn't care what I do.
What was he saying to you, you think?
He was asking to have an open marriage, and I refused.
He wanted an open marriage?
Yeah, that I accept the fact that he has somebody else in his life.
And you said?
No. No. That is not a marriage.
When we have 13,000 Americans living on the moon, they can petition to become a state.
If he's running for president, he has answers to give.
You know his secrets. You know his skeletons.
I know some of them.
Gingrich is now married to that somebody else, the other woman, Callista, a devout Catholic who has claimed she was Newt's mistress for some 6 years while he was still married to Mary Ann.
I found out during our conversations that it was occurring in my bedroom in our apartment in Washington. And he always called me at night. He always ended with, "I love you." Well, she was there listening.
Right next to him.
In my home.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! This nation is free at last again!
He suddenly reached over and he put his hand on my leg, under my skirt, and reached for my genitals. He also grabbed my head and brought it towards his crotch. I was very, very surprised and very shocked. I said, "What are you doing? You know I have a boyfriend. This isn't what I came here for." Mr. Cain said, "You want a job, right?"
I'm not proud. I didn't want to come out with this. I did not.
Ginger White was worried a political tsunami was headed her way, so she decided to head it off by confessing she was involved in a nearly 14-year-long affair with presidential hopeful Herman Cain.
I was aware that he was married, and I was also aware that I was involved in a very inappropriate situation, relationship.
I have never acted inappropriately with anyone.
He made it very intriguing. It was fun. It was something that took me away from my sort of humdrum life at the time, and it was exciting.
She says he gave her his newly published book, Leadership is Common Sense, and he wrote, "Miss G, you have already made a big difference. Stay focused as you pursue your next destination."
Herman Cain loves Herman Cain.
When his new book, CEO of Self, came out in 2001, Ginger White says Cain once again autographed it for her, writing, "Friends are forever. Everything else is a bonus."
I think the people that Barack Obama has been associating with are anti-American by and large, the people who are radical leftists.
On the campaign trail, Michele Bachmann tells supporters her husband Marcus has been the key to their 33 years of happy marriage.
I have a very big advantage because Marcus has his PhD in counseling and he's a marriage counselor.
But Dr. Bachmann's brand of counseling is highly controversial and could become a campaign issue.
Here's my husband, Dr. Marcus Bachmann.
Operating out of suburban Minneapolis, Dr. Bachmann runs a Christian counseling firm, co-owned with his wife Michele, that at times, according to former patients, has tried to convert gay men into heterosexuals through Christian prayer.
It leads to the personal enslavement of individuals. Because if you're involved in the gay and lesbian lifestyle, it's bondage. It is personal bondage, personal despair, and personal enslavement. And that's why this is so dangerous. We need to have profound compassion for people who are dealing with the very real issue of sexual dysfunction in their life and sexual identity disorders.
That is the view President Bachmann would have of gay Americans?
Well, I am running for the presidency of the United States. I'm not running to be anyone's judge. I do stand
But you have judged them.
I don't judge them. I don't judge them. I am running for presidency of the United States.
Is that the view of gay Americans that President Bachmann would have?
Well, my view on marriage is that I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, and that's what I stand for. But I ascribe honor and dignity to every person, no matter what their background. They have honor and they have dignity.
Do you think gay Americans hearing quotes like that from you would think that that's honor and dignity coming from you about their circumstance?
I am not anyone's judge, and I'm not standing in his
Congresswoman, do you think anybody hears that and thinks you haven't made a judgment about gays and lesbians?
That's all I can tell you is that I'm not judging.
So your words should stand for themselves.
I'm running for the presidency of the United States. That's what's important.
Would you appoint a...
Gold is good. If you've got any in the backyard, because, you know, if they print any more money over there in Washington, the gold's going to be good.
Rick Perry's campaign has hit a rock, as in rock bottom. An explosive Washington Post report claims Perry leased a West Texas hunting camp with his father with the N-word in its name.
What the word was on the rock. The name of the place was called Niggerhead. That is very insensitive.
My immediate reaction, of course, was I was offended by this place being called that. Then they start digging in the weeds when it was called and all, but nobody has denied it was called that.
Yeah.
Nobody has denied that the rock was there that named it. And no one has said affirmatively that Rick Perry never saw it and what he said about it. Stand up, Governor Perry, address the issue. If you go, imagine making this man president if he can't explain a rock in the driveway of his ranch, of his hunting lodge. Imagine if you had to deal with a world crisis. Is this the man you want to have to deal with that? I'm waiting, Governor Perry. I'm still waiting.
So I don't want to make people's lives better by giving them somebody else's money.
How about the ideas that all men are created equal and like the rights to happiness and liberty?
Okay, so are we saying that everyone should have the right to marry? Everyone. Okay, so anyone can marry anybody else. Okay, so anybody can marry anybody else. So anybody can marry several people. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Stop! No, this is not participatory. We're not going to do this. Okay, I'm going to ask the question. If people want to respond, I'll be happy to call on. Let me thank you all very, very much for being here and for your time and attention. Thanks.
Who let the dogs out?
Back in 1983, you took your Irish setter, Seamus, on a 12-hour road trip tied to the roof of your car.
No.
Let me finish. Like Let me finish. Okay. In a kennel, inside a kennel.
Yes.
Okay. I have a yellow lab named Winston. I would no sooner put him in a kennel on the roof of my car than I would one of my children. Question. What were you thinking?
This is a completely airtight kennel and mounted on the top of our car. He climbed up there regularly, enjoyed himself. He was in a kennel at home a great deal of time as well. We loved the dog. It was where he was comfortable. We had 5 kids inside the car. My guess is he liked it a lot better in his kennel than he would have liked it inside.
Well, your critics charge that you make decisions based on political expediency and not core conviction. You have been on both sides of some issues, and there's videotape of you going back years speaking about different issues: climate change, abortion, immigration, gay rights. How can voters trust what they hear from you today is what you will believe if you win the White House?
Well, Brett, your list is just not accurate. So, one, we're going to have to be better informed about my views on issues.
But I'm sure you've seen these ads using videotape of you in previous years speaking on various issues. And it seems like it's in direct contrast to positions you take now.
Well, I'm glad that the Democratic ads are breaking through, and you guys at Fox are seeing them.
Jon Hunstman has a couple ads that do the exact same thing.
And there's no question but that people are going to take snippets and take things out of context and try and show that there are differences, where in some cases there are not.